What's up, Pop Nation? It's your boy John here today, back for another Thursday night preview between the Denver Broncos. They're traveling to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Should be another excellent game, as we predicted last week, between the Bears and the Commanders. Thank you for joining us again. We've had a lot of success with these Thursday night previews. They've gone very well. We are sitting at 17-5, so a bit of a tough one. Last week we went 2-2. We're all over Justin Fields. We're all over DJ Moore. But we did fall short on Terry McLaurin, just only slightly. And then the other one was Brian Robinson. Oh, man, Brian Robinson did get us. But no, we're still at 71% of on the season on Thursday Night Football. So going very well there. Looking forward to this one as well. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. You can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Sully is starting up the hockey as well. The hockey. Sully's starting up hockey. So if you like to win more money on more sports, there's going to be more options coming your way as well. But let's get into this Thursday night preview between the Chiefs and the Broncos. And there's a few things to talk about. Kansas City minus 10.5 point favorites. So at home, they're in a really, really good spot here. That 0.5, that half has sat there all week and it has not moved. So I'm not sure how I would bet that, but the 47.5 over under is fairly nice. The weather, it's going to be warm and windy. It's going to be 25 degrees and there's going to be a fair bit of wind, but no rain. So keep that in mind as well. Just looking at the injuries as well. Mostly everyone is expected to play. We expect to see Travis Kelce out there. Javonte Williams will be back as well. He's expected to play. They both trained all week as well. So let's just jump in quickly to the DVOA as well that I like to kick off with. So Kansas City sitting at 6 overall. Very, very strong, powerful team, and they're going to be home against the Broncos, who are actually 30th at the moment because their defense is 32nd. They're doing very, very bad. Their offense is 16th, though, so right in the middle there. But, KC, they're all over this one. Offense 6 and defense 11. All right, and we're going to start us off here on the Denver Broncos side of things. So we can see how they tracked last week against the Jets. Was a bit of an interesting game, but man, that run game, they have been creating lanes for all running backs, no matter who it is, whether it's Breece Hall or Khalil Herbert. They're getting a lot of success on the ground against the Broncos. So should be an interesting game for Isaiah Pacheco here. Maybe Jerick McKinnon, although the other two and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they have just not been utilized really at all of recent. Also, the Broncos have had a really tough time covering the spread there. Quarterbacks have had a lot of success over them. The wide receiver 1 has had a lot of success as well. Wide receiver 2 struggled a little bit, interesting to see as well. So, and then the tight ends as well. So the tricky thing here with the Chiefs is it's sort of like, how do you want to play this? Do you who is the wide receiver 1? For me, I'm on Rashee Rice this week. I think that his utilization has started to go up quite a lot. I know Kadarius Toney was a little bit more involved last week, but as you'll see in a moment, we get to the receivers. It's all over the place. There's not a huge amount of Chiefs plays that I actually have this week. Let's just jump quickly now to the Kansas City Chiefs, who, by all accounts, are doing very well. Their defense, as we mentioned in DVOA, has been solid. They've been winning games. They've been covering a few spreads. Over-unders have been sort of hit and miss. They sort of got off to a slow start, but I feel like they're sort of starting to get rolling now, particularly. Quarterbacks. So Zach Wilson had sort of an all-time game against them, which was kind of weird. And then Kirk Cousins has been really good at covering, hitting his implied totals. So they both had a bit of success. Run game has been tough. It's going to be a really interesting game for Javonte Williams, who I do sort of like in this spot, despite the fact that everything here sort of suggests otherwise. I still don't mind this. I'm also sneaky liking Jerry Jeudy to an extent, but the tight ends, the Broncos tight ends, I'm not really looking at that. But let's get into the ticket now. Let's start with the quarterbacks. And we'll start here with poor old Russell Wilson. He's having a bit of a tough time there in Denver and with Sean Payton. It's not going too well. You can see he's sort of struggled to hit his passing props the last few weeks. The 215, though, that is a nice number. I do not mind that at all. I know he struggled last week against the Jets. Jets are a good defense, though. Not saying that the Chiefs are not. He has been throwing a few touchdowns as well. This has probably been his most consistent metric. He had one touchdown in week, 3? But other than that, he's been scoring 2 touchdowns at least each game. So I guess that's why the over-under is set at 47.5 as well. Attempts, not always there, but completions, I reckon if you can get this down to 20.5, I don't mind the 20.5 completions. It does seem to sort of be a little bit of a weakness of the Chiefs. But when I say weakness, I use that term loosely. We know that the Chiefs get off to a flying start, and then other teams are usually stuck trying to keep pace with them. Looking at Patrick Mahomes now, look, for me, Mahomes at this stage is a bit of a stay away, and this was kind of what he was last year as well. You just sort of got to play the matchup. I realized that he could very easily hit over 275 passing yards. I'm not disputing that. I'm just wondering if they get out to a fast lead, will he need to? I mean, the Chiefs have really hardly been using the run game, but still, and then the same with the rushing yards. I know that that's been probably his most consistent metric as well. I just, I don't know that he'll need to run a lot in this spot as well, particularly playing at home. We do know he likes to put on a decent performance though. So, I mean, use your best judgment on Mahomes. But it is mainly Russ that I'm sort of looking at in this spot to put up some garbage time stats. Jumping over now to the running backs, let's start off with Javonte Williams and Samaje Perine. I don't have a huge angle here, inclination on Samaje Perine. He did have a good week last week, but I think that was in Javonte Williams' absence, so it's not something I'm really looking to go back to. The one that does strike me as interesting, though, is the Javonte Williams 35.5 rushing yards, as I was saying. I think we've got sort of like another almost like Breece Hall situation here where because of the injury, we know this is a really talented player. His lines maybe have started high and he didn't get utilized too much. And I think that they've sort of dropped it down a little bit. So 35, I'm pretty happy with. I know he's really struggled this season so far, but this could be a get-right game here. I know the Chiefs' defense, run defense, it is tough, but I think Javonte Williams is talented enough. I think he's one of the more talented runners in the NFL. So if he has a really good game, we're never going to see it at 35.5. Similar to what Sully was saying last week about Breece Hall. So 35.5, that'll be on my card for sure. Let's jump over now to the Kansas City running backs, and this is where it does start to get a little bit more dicey. Isaiah Pacheco, he is starting to be more involved, and his lines are starting to lift as well. This is tricky for me to want to attack. I understand that the Broncos have been creating lanes for running backs to run through and saying, here you go, please get your 100 yards wherever you can, make your prop lines. But like Sully would be all over this. I know if Sully was here right now, his lock of the week would probably be Isaiah Pacheco over rushing. I'm not a huge Isaiah Pacheco guy. We know this if you listen to previous shows. I just never back him. It's just me and 7th rounders, man. Like, I know it's just fantasy and it's betting and stuff. I know it's fantasy and it's betting and stuff, but yeah, I just don't know about that. And then Jerick McKinnon, he's been hardly used at all. So I'm not really looking that way. Use your best judgment if you're going to bet on Isaiah Pacheco. Again, 7th rounders. I struggle with. Let's jump now to the receiving options, though. On the Denver side of things, Cortland Sutton, he has sort of started to fade away a little bit. I really wish they'd get Marvin Mims more involved because he has been very good when the ball has been in his hands. It's just been trying to get the ball into his hands, which has been the problem. But Jerry Jeudy, 50.5 receiving. This, to me, it's really starting to become quite obvious that Jerry Jeudy is Russ's guy. He's the guy he turns to the most. I'm wondering if, I know the Chiefs are good against the receiver 1 options, and then they're less reliable against the receiver 2 options. Is there a world in which we can get Cortland Sutton to be this receiver 1 option that they're going to look at, and then Jerry Jeudy is the receiver 2? Can they get open? Obviously, L'Jarius Sneed, very, very good player, and Nick Bolton's been very good at linebacker. So we'll see. Well, I want to have Jerry Jeudy on my card this week because I think that there's going to be a lot of passing involved in Denver's side. Prime time, it's going to be so fascinating to watch. As I mentioned, the Chiefs have not been too great against tight ends, so you could look at Adam Troutman's way if you want. I know that Russ did like to utilize the tight end a lot in Seattle and even last year to an extent, but it's Jerry Jeudy for me. if we finish off, we'll finish off with these Chiefs receivers. And man, if you can make sense of this mess, please, by all means, go for it. I do like Rashee Rice in this spot. I think that if Satan can be sort of placed somewhere between Travis Kelce and Kadarius Toney, or Nick Bolton will be on Travis Kelce, it should be a good spot here for Rashee Rice. I understand that Kadarius Toney did have a lot of catches last week. It was really had like 5 catches for like 17 yards, or what was it, 24 yards, 25, something like that. Wasn't a great line for him. MVS has been hardly used at all. If he can even get even more than 1 catch, that would be a miracle. Sky Moore has not been utilized. Justin Ross, maybe he could start to be a thing. But no, for me, it's Rashee Rice. He's sort of very clearly, to me, becoming the guy. So 30.5 is a really nice line for receiving. That's going to be on my ticket. And as I was saying, perhaps this could be the Travis Kelce breakout game. He's been a bit hit and miss, though, with these injuries coming on and off the field. He had a decent game last week, even though he couldn't get the receiving totals that he needed. He did get the receptions. But, he's a stud player. I'm sure that they know how to play against Denver. All right, let's finish off. We'll look at the ticket here. So we've got Russ over 20.5 rushing. I also don't mind the over 215 passing yards. I'm sort of like putting in like the cheeky section though. Javonte Williams over 35.5 rushing. Really like that. Oh, I sort of like that. Jerry Jeudy over 50.5 receiving. I'm okay with. Rashee Rice over 35.5 receiving. Really, really like that as a ticket. You can make it 4 legs, you can make it 3 legs, you can make it 5 legs if you want, but it should be a really nice ticket. That's going to do it for another week. Looking forward to this game. Should be a good one. Hopefully the Chiefs play really well. Hopefully Russ can just, I don't know, please get something going to entertain us, just like we were expecting last week with the Bears and the Commanders. Please like and subscribe to this if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're seeing it on Twitter, please repost our content. It's really, really helpful. And TikTok as well is going really, really well, as well as Instagram. So continue to like and follow and subscribe. Hope you enjoy the picks. Sully will be back with more hockey lines as well to come through, and then we'll have the Sunday Slate NFL show for week 6. Man, this season is already flying by. We'll catch you soon. See ya.